All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to say call Haloyam Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakal Kwitash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and who rule well in this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel that is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and mercy unto you. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. You are the true chosen people of the book. All right, so I have this article here, all right, and the title reads, what is the Insurrection Act of 1807? All right, and will Trump invoke it? All right, now we know the scriptures talk about a great insurrection, man. All right, going into martial law, because as prophecy says in the book of Second Esdras, the 16th chapter. All right, there's going to be a great civil war, race wars and race riots. All right, that's what's coming, man. All right, there's going to be hell and chaos in these streets, man. All right, and all this type of chaos is going to invoke, all right, usher in martial law. All right, because this chaos that's getting ready to, happen, all right, break forth out in the streets of America, this is all systematically created. All right, by the elites, because you have something that's known as order added chaos, all right, which the elites, they create chaos, all right, to come behind it with order, man, all right, to control the people, all right. So we know, according to the scriptures, all right, great civil war on a very high and great level is coming, man, all right, on a very high and great level, all right, civil war is coming. Race wars and race riots, all right? And this is going to pop off martial law. We know that martial law is biblical prophecy. We're going to get into it, man. All right, we're going to bring the scriptures out. All right? Matter of fact, we'll bring it out right now. Let's get it. All right? Let's get the book of Second Esdras. All right? Second Esdras 16. All right? Let's get it. Around the 70th verse. All right, let's get it, man. All right, so this is Second Ezra 16 and 70. All right, it says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that feared the Lord. Yeah, going into martial law, man. All right, going into martial law. And what do we have here? What is the Insurrection Act of 1807? All right, and will Trump invoke it? All right, matter of fact, let's read this article real quick. It says President Donald Trump could invoke a century-old law that would authorize him to deploy the United States military. All right, yeah, because you're gonna have military personnel in these streets. All right. That's going to be these martial law troops, these UN troops, all right? Deploy United States military to the southern border and order them to assist law enforcement in carrying out his domestic policies. The Insurrection Act of 1807, a rarely used law, all right, allows the president to utilize federal military troops or federalized National Guard troops in order to suppress uncontrollable protests or other civil disturbances situations. Yeah, because that's what's going to happen. All right, civil war is going to pop off in these streets here in America. Race wars and race riots. And when this all happens, all right, that Insurrection Act, all right, those martial law troops are going to be brought forth, man. All right, order added chaos. All right, so they can control the people, man. All right, it says the Insurrection Act of 1807, a rarely used law, allows the president to utilize federal military troops or federalized National Guard troops in order to suppress uncontrollable protests or other civil disturbance situations. You see? All right, so let's get into that as well. Matter of fact, let me hold that back on that real quick. But let's go up in the same chapter. All right, let's get into it. Where is it at? Where is it at? Is it in the 15th chapter? Let me check real quick. Hold on. It might be in the 15th chapter, not the 16th chapter. All right. Yeah, in the 15th chapter. So let me go back a chapter. All right. Yeah. All right. 15. All right. Let's get it. All right. This is Second Ezra 15 and 15. It says, woe to them that dwell. Matter of fact, it started at 14. All right. Second Ezra 15 and 14. It says, woe to them. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Yeah. Because destruction is coming. Destruction on a very high and great level is coming upon this earth, man. All right. Civil war, race wars and race riots, and then the nuclear missiles. All right. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. Yeah, it's right around the corner. You people don't understand the type of destruction, the type of hell and anguish and sorrow and mourning and suffering that's coming upon the face of this earth, man. Especially here in America, man. All right, it's known as the time of Jacob's trouble, man. All right. Great uproars and uprisings, which is already happening over the world, is going to happen. All right, it's already happening, but there's going to come a time where you're going to see it on a whole nother level, and that's really soon, man. Very great civil war is coming to this place, man. All right, on a very high and great level, man. On an unfathomable level. Race wars and race riots. All right, we're about to read it. All right, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, going into civil war and race wars and race riots. All right, and that's going to bring in martial law. We're going to read that in a second too. All right, so let's read that again. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men. Yeah, uproars and uprisings, civil wars and all of that. All right, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. Yeah, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Yeah, right, because they're going to they're not going to regard their kings or princes, like the presidents and prime ministers and all of that, man. And there's going to be a great uproar, uprising. We're reading it right now. Verse 15 again. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another. Civil war, race wars and race riots, and the swords in their hands, all types of weapons and destruction, all right? For there shall be sedition among men, all right? And invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in power. Yeah, and that's all that is going to be systematically created. All this is going to be manufactured by the elites. The elites are going to bring this chaos and division, all right, and all of that. It's really the Lord doing it, but the Lord is using Esau, the elites, and, the people that sit in high places to do all of this, man. All right. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Yeah, because that's also going into martial law. Because the cities are going to be blocked off. You're going to have roadblocks. All right. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to. All right. Because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. Houses shall be destroyed and men shall be afraid. We're getting ready to step into this time, man. All right. So all these uproars is about to pop off, man. Civil war is about to pop off. We just read the prophecy. All right. And now, because of that's going to happen, there's going to be a great insurrection, man. All right. Going into martial law. All right. So let's read it. It says, Second Ezra, the 16th chapter, the 70th verse. It says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that feared the Lord. Again, going into martial law. Because those are the ones that they're really after, all right? The men of the Lord, the prophets, all right? when all this happens. All right, that's why it says. All right, let's read that verse again. It says, "For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection, all right, upon those that fear the Lord." All right, and what's getting ready to happen? All right, the Insurrection Act of 1807. Come on, man. All right, it says the Insurrection Act of 1807, a rarely used law, allows the people to utilize federal military troops or federalized National Guard troops in order to suppress uncontrollable protests and other civil disturbances situations. You see? All right. It says, let's go down. It says, when invoked, the Insurrection Act gives the president the authority to deploy the U.S. military or National Guard inside the country to suppress events such as rebellion, all right, insurrection, and civil disorder, or enforce the law in a situation where it has become impracticable to do so. You see, basically ushering out martial law. That's going into martial law. All right, and what do the scriptures say? All right, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none. Yeah, these martial law troops, right? They're going to be like madmen, sparing none, killing, spoiling, and destroying. That's what they're going to be do. They're going to be like sick, psychotic men. All right, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Yeah, because that's who they're really after. All right. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Yeah, they're going to break into your houses and pull you out of your houses. All right. Kill you. All right. Or take you away, man. The men of the Lord. All right. It says, for they shall waste and take away their goods. Yeah, they're going to break into your house, take everything you got. All that you have, all right. It says, and cast them out of their house. Yeah, they're going to take everything you out. They're going to take you and everything you have, man. All right. And then it says, then shall they be known, all right, who are my chosen. Yeah, in this day, all right. That's when the whole world is going to realize who the true men and the true servants of the Lord are, who the prophets are. All right. Then shall they be known who are my chosen. All right, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire, because that's who they really coming after, man. That's what all this was set up for, man. All right, this whole martial law stuff. All right, because they're coming after the men of the Lord, man. And in that day, that's when everyone is going to know who the true prophets and the true servants of the Lord are, man. Because they're going to be like, why are they after these men? Who specifically after these men for? You know? And that's why martial law is going to be brought forth, man. All right. Order added chaos, all right, is going to take place, all right. You know, order added chaos. They create chaos to come behind it with order, all right, to keep the people in order, man. All right, to control you, man. But really, they're going to bring in this martial law because they're going to go after the true men of the Lord, the true prophets of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, man. All right, the true prophets of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, man. All right, which are the Israelites, man. First and foremost, the Israelites of Great Millstone and the ones that teach in like manner. That's who they're going to go after, man. You understand? All right, it says, hear, O ye my beloved, save the Lord. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand. Yeah. All right, because this also goes into another prophecy known as the time of Jacob's trouble. The time of Jacob's trouble. All right, Jacob is one of the patriarchs, man. All right, out of the loins of Jacob comes the nation of Israel. All right, it's the time of Jacob's trouble, the time of the Israelites' trouble, the true Israelites, the Negro, Latino, Native American man. All right. Also coming upon the Israelites that are also scattered throughout the four corners of the earth under the other nations, looking like the other nations. You understand? All right. So great trouble's getting ready to come upon you Negroes, you Latinos, and Native Americans, man. All right. The time of Jacob's trouble to you Israelites, man. The days of trouble are at hand. Yeah. But I will deliver you from the same. Yeah. The elect is going to be delivered. All right. The elect, the chosen, all right, is going to be delivered. The 1/3, all right, the 144,000, all right, and the great multitude that follows behind the 144,000, all right. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide. Ooh, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts. Ooh, and the guide of what? And the guide of them that, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts. All right, showing you that you're supposed to keep the commandments and the precepts, man. The law not done away with. The Most High is the guide of them who keep the commandments and precepts, saith the Lord God. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves. All right, woe unto them that are bound with their sins and covered with their iniquities, like as a field is covered over with bushes, and the path thereof covered with thorns, that no man may travel through. It is left undressed and is cast into the fire to be consumed therewith. Yeah. All right. You're going to be destroyed. Let not your sins weigh you down. Keep pushing. Keep going, bro. Endure unto the end, man. You know, because we all fall short, but you can't let that bother you, man. You know, just like the Lord told that one lady, all right, go and sin no more, man. You see? So you just got to keep pushing, bro. Right? To all the men out there that are prophets and servants of the Lord that are out on the highways and hedges, I'm talking to y'all, man. You know? All right, so let's get back into this article. All right, it says, when invoked, the Insurrection Act gives the president the authority to deploy the U.S. military or National Guard inside the country. Yeah, and that's going to happen, bro. All right, because troops are going to be called for martial law, man. All right, it's crazy how it's called the Insurrection Act of 1807. And the scripture's talking about there's going to be a great insurrection, man. All right, going into martial law. You know, uproars and uprisings, you know. And martial law, they're going to usher in martial law, man. All right, because they're going to go after the men of the Lord, man. All right. All right, it says, when invoked, the Insurrection Act gives the president the authority to deploy the U.S. military or National Guard inside the country to suppress events such as rebellion, all right, insurrection, and civil disorder, or to enforce the law in a situation where it has become impracticable, all right, to do so. All right, the Insurrection Act is not one piece of legislation. Rather, it is the combination of a series of laws enacted by Congress between 1792 and 1871 that specifically address utilizing the military within the U.S. The act is an exception to the Posse Comitatus Act, which typically prevents the federal government from using the federal military, all right, or National Guard to enforce domestic policy. All right, once invoked, the act temporarily suspends Posse Comitatus. All right, all right. It says troops can be deployed under 3 sections of the Insurrection Act. The first is if a state legislator or governor requests federal aid to suppress an insurrection in that state. The second allows the president to invoke it without a state's permission. All right. Whenever they consider unlawful obstruction, combinations, or assemblages or rebellion, all right, make it impracticable, all right, to enforce the law of the United States. All right, the third also allows the president to invoke the act without a state's permission under 2 scenarios. If any insurrection, domestic violence, unlawful combination, or conspiracy hinders the state's ability to desire to execute laws that specifically protects people's constitutional rights, or if any insurrection, domestic violence, unlawful combination, or conspiracy obstructs the executive or the law or course of justice under those laws. All right, but before the president can consider the Insurrection Act, they must order a proclamation asking, all right, insurgents or those obstructing the enforcement of laws to disperse peacefully within a certain amount of time. Let me read that again. It says, but before the president can consider the Insurrection Act, they must first order a proclamation asking insurgents, all right, or those obstructing the enforcement of laws to disperse peacefully within a certain amount of time. All right. It says, why does Trump want to use it? The president has broadly sought to utilize the extent of his authority to circumvent the traditional slow-paced steps to enact his policies. He has also never been shy about his desire to utilize federal troops or National Guard to control mass protests in states where he feels the governor is not doing enough to restore order. You see? All right? Order added chaos, man. All right? The elites create chaos, all right? And they come behind it with a solution, all right, to create order. All right? To create, for control, man. All right? But once this martial law pops off, it's not what you going to think it's going to be, bro. It's going to be a very, 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 very great time of trouble, man. The time of Jacob's trouble. All right, the martial law, the civil wars and the uproars and uprisings, the race wars and race riots. It's going to be a very great time of trouble, man. The people on this earth are going to be trembling, man. Like the scriptures say, men shall be afraid. All right, and men shall be afraid. Let's get that again. All right, and men shall be afraid, bro. All right. It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid, all right? A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, yep, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, yeah. Civil war, man, all right? And spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and great tribulation, also going into the famine, all right? Going into the famine, all right, and for great tribulation, yeah, because the time of trouble that's getting ready to come upon this place is something that this earth has never seen before, bro. Matter of fact, let's get that. All right, let's get that in Daniel. All right, it's in Daniel, also in Jeremiah. All right, Daniel 12:1. It says, and at that time, what time? The time of Jacob's trouble. All right, written in Jeremiah 30:7. All right, and at that time shall Michael stand up. Yeah, because during this time of trouble, all right, what did we read earlier in 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter? That the Lord is going to intervene, man. All right, and save the elect. All right, matter of fact, let's get that real quick. All right, it says, hear, O ye my beloved, verse 74. All right, save the Lord. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for God is your guide. All right. So when you go to Daniel 12th chapter, it says, and at that time shall Michael stand up. Yeah, Michael the archangel. The Lord's going to send Michael the archangel down here. All right, to intervene. All right, for the Israelites, the elect. All right, the Negro, Latino, Native American man. All right. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, the Israelites, all right? And there shall be a time of trouble, all right, such as never was since there was a nation even to that same time. Yeah, there's getting ready to come a time of trouble on this earth that this earth has never seen before, man. So something that your mind can't even fathom, bro. You understand? Something that you can't even wrap your head around it. See, we tell you these things, but it goes in one ear and out the other. Only the elect is going to listen, man, and understand what we saying, man. Because you got to understand, this is the Lord that's doing this, man. When this time of trouble takes place, when we enter into the time of Jacob's trouble, the people of this earth is going to know that it has to be a higher power that's doing this, man. You know? It says, such as never was since there was a nation even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered. Yeah. All right. The elect. And everyone that shall be found written in the book. Yeah. All right. Because the angels are going to put these people to flight, man. All right. And then some of us are going to gain spiritual powers. All right. But some of us are going to need the angels to intervene, man. All right, and put the people to flight, man. All right, and that's also going to boost up your faith because you're going to see it right before your eyes. You're going to be like, yo, you're going to be like, yo. You're going to be like, what? You're going to see something that you never thought you could ever see in your life, man. It's going to bug you out, but in a good way. It's not going to bug, like in a bad, you're gonna be like, yo, what? You can be like, word, I'm with it. What's up? Like, your faith gonna go through the roof. You be like, word, the Lord got me. You know what I'm saying? Like, woo. Bro, man. Let's get Jeremiah 30. This is going all this martial law and civil war and race wars and race riots and the famine, and that's all going into the time of Jacob's trouble. All right, Jeremiah 30:7. At last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. You see, it is even the time of Jacob's trouble. Yeah, it's the time of Jacob's trouble, not the time of Esau's trouble, or the time of Elam's trouble, or the time of Canaan's trouble, or the time of Cush's trouble. No, it's the time of Jacob's trouble. Great trouble is getting ready to come upon you Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans, right? Because Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of, he knows that he has nothing but a short time. He knows that his rulership of this planet Earth is coming to an end. And that's why he's getting ready to come upon this earth, you Israelites, with great wrath. Very great wrath. And that's the Lord that's doing it. You got to remember, Esau, Edom, that's the Lord's sword. So the Lord uses Esau, Edom to bring destruction upon this earth, because that was Esau's blessing, the sword, to bring destruction upon this earth, man. At last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. All right. And when you go up a verse, it says, ask ye now and see whether a man does travail with child. Yeah, because only men give birth. All right. But the same way how a woman screams and travail during birth, that's how a man is going to scream in these last days. Like he's a damn woman. All right. What did we read earlier? All right. And men shall be afraid, man. All right. All right. It says because this is 2nd Ezra 15:18. It says, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Yeah, men. All right. You men are going to turn into women out here. All right. It says, ask ye now and see whether does a man travail with child. Yeah. All right. Wherefore do I see every man with his hand on his loins? Yeah. You men are gonna turn into moles out here, man. All right, you basically gonna turn into women out here. You gonna be shitting bricks out here, man. All right, when all this hell breaks loose out here in America, man. Especially ones that think that y'all big and bad, you proud as hell. Especially ones that heard this word and was mocking and scorning and scoffing. Proud as hell, man. Thinking ain't nothing gonna happen. Ooh. It's gonna be beautiful, man. To see y'all in y'all paleness, man, like the scriptures say. All right, like we about to read. It says Jeremiah 30:6. Ask ye now and see whether a man does travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hand on his loins? Yeah, you're gonna be gripping your loins. You're gonna be, It says as a woman in travail. Yeah, and all faces are turned into paleness. Ooh, all right. Your spirit is going to be gone, man. Your whole spirit is going to be gone, man. That's why you're going to be pale as hell, man. You ain't going to be able to move, because you're going to see things you ain't never see before, and it's going to trip you out, man. Your grandma's head explode because they shoved the barrel down her mouth. You know? You seen the whole houses explode and people's bodies turn into juice. That's what's getting ready to come, man. You understand? A very great time of trouble, man. Like it says right here, for at last. It says at last. At last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Yeah, the Lord got us, man. You got to have that faith, man. All right? That the Lord has you, man. And this hasn't happened yet, man. All right? You got bugged out Israelite camps talking about, oh, the Jacob's trouble, that already passed. We're not going to enter in the time of Jacob's trouble. I think that was IUIC that said that, man. Bugged out IUIC, man. Bugged out is all hell, man. You know? Let's get back to this article, bro. It says, where was I at? It says he threatened to invoke it during his first term, according to the New York Times, all right, during the George Floyd protests. Ooh, all right, at one campaign rally in Iowa in 2023, 2023, Trump complained about crime in states with Democratic governors. And one of the other things I'll do, because you are not supposed to be involved in that, you just have to be asked by the governor or the mayor to come in. All right. The next time I am not waiting, Trump said. Yeah. So just he probably is going to invoke it, man. The Insurrection Act, man. So this martial law can pop off and all of that, man. All right. This is all prophecy, man. Martial law going to pop off, man. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it, man. It's prophecy. All right. It says the act has been invoked at least 30 times throughout history. It says in the most recent occurrence being 1992, when George H.W. Bush, all right, used it in response to the Rodney King protests and riots in Los Angeles. Some notable applications of it are when Abraham Lincoln invoked the Insurrection Act at the start of the Civil War, after the southern states began seceding, all right? Dwight D. Eisenhower invoked it after the Arkansas National Guard forbade black students, all right, from attending school in Little Rock. All right. It says Eisenhower used his power to call down the Arkansas National Guard, allowing the children to go to school. All right. So y'all can read this article for yourselves, and y'all could get into it. Any brothers that see this video, happen to see this video, you could, you know, go into this article, you know, make your own video, do your own lesson, man. All right, so, you know, Lord willing, I hope this lesson was edifying. All right, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Ratazah, this lesson was edifying, man. You know, you the elect of you Israelites, I'm talking to y'all, man. The elect of y'all have to come back to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, man, because that door is getting ready to close. All right, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai is getting ready to close that door, man. All right, it's right now it's cracked. We can still slither in. As long as you see the prophets out here on the highways and hedges and making videos, that's the Lord's mercy. That's the Lord's hand still being reached out, man. You know, I'm talking to the elect of you Israelites, you Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans, man. All right, and also the Israelites that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, under all the other nations looking like the other nations. You're going to have Israelites looking Chinese in China. Israelites in Japan looking Japanese. Israelites in Germany looking German. All right, all throughout the four corners of the earth. You're going to have Israelites in Thailand looking Thai. All right? Israelites in Taiwan looking Taiwanese. All right, all throughout I'm talking to y'all, man. All right, wherever y'all are, come back to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, because great destruction upon this earth is getting ready to take place, especially here in America, man. All right? Romans 13 verse 11. For now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for our salvation is nearer than we believe. All right? It's time to wake up. Come back to who you really are. All right? You're Israelites. All right? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, is the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right? Our God's name is Yahweh. All right? Yahweh. Yahweh. And his son's name is Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai. All right? Yahweh being the heavenly father. Yahweh Shai being the name of the son. All right? Those are the names you come back to. Those are the names you bow down to and praise and call upon and worship and weep and mourn to for mercy, salvation, compassion. You understand? All right? So with that being said, I want to say call Halalyam Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakah Quikdash. All right? Until the next one, Shalom.